5 News at Noon starts now.
Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Joshua Weisel, and we want to get straight to that forecast because there's a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we just got the latest information from the Storm Prediction Center. Still looking at a risk for not only severe weather, but also a flooding potential by the time we get later into this afternoon and evening. Some areas are seeing sunshine and some are seeing heavy rain right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar just because it's been an active morning across the region. And you can see basically north of I-40, mostly in portions of Washington and Benton County, still seeing some heavy rainfall at this noon hour. But the River Valley, it's been mostly clear all morning. And looking at some of our cameras behind the scenes, there's a lot of sunshine further to the south along and south of I-40. North of there, it's still raining down pretty heavily. You can see lots of lightning with this activity as it's moving through. We'll be watching to see how much this will impact the potential for the storms later on in northwest Arkansas. River Valley, though, not quite as, energy being used up by this activity in the morning. So we'll be watching the activity throughout the day today. The other thing is we've had a lot of rain in the last 48 hours. As you can see, there's quite a bit of rainfall. So any rain that we see later on today will also add to that flash flooding potential. The main story today on many of y'all's minds is a severe weather risk. And we have now a 3 out of 5. This is as of 11:30 from the Storm Prediction Center across basically a large chunk of our area. It includes Fayetteville and Fort Smith and anywhere in between you see here in this orange shaded area. So this is for the potential. We could see hail up to 2 inches in diameter, maybe winds 60 to 70, but there's also a potential for a couple tornadoes. Some maybe a little bit on the stronger side. So that's not to worry you. The best thing you can do today, if you're anxious about the severe weather risk, of course, download that 5 News mobile app. We'll be here for you throughout the day today. We'll have those latest updates as well with these risks. The better that you are prepared and the more ways to receive alerts, the less scary that risk will be. So just stick with us. We'll be with you throughout the day today. We'll let you know the very latest details as well with the forecast. I'll have the full details and dive a little bit further into this coming up here in just a little bit.
Thank you, Joshua. And as he mentioned, we will have extended in-depth coverage of this weather impact alert on the 5 News Plus Smart TV app. You can scan this QR code right there on your screen for the download instructions. And we'll also be live there with any severe weather warnings. 5 News Plus is available for Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TVs. You can download it and watch for free. Well, a step forward today in a year-long battle over the future of Northwest Arkansas National Airport. The airport's board of directors voted just hours ago to accept an agreement with the City of Highfill on detaching the airport from the city. That move comes after months of back and forth over whether XNA should remain under Highfill's jurisdiction and be subject to its sales tax. XNA and Highfill had already agreed on a memorandum of understanding in August. XNA CEO Aaron Burks says the fight with Highfill is over and the priority now is repairing that relationship and moving forward as neighbors. Now the Highfill City Council is set to vote on the order tomorrow night. Well, the Sequoyah County Sheriff's Office is investigating a weekend shooting. They say a man was found shot in the head on Saturday evening. Right now, investigators say this man, 21-year-old Robert Skelton, is a person of interest in this case. Sheriff Larry Lane says the victim, a 20-year-old Salisaw man, is currently in ICU at a Northwest Arkansas hospital. Jail records show Skelton is facing an aggravated assault and battery with a deadly weapon charge. Well, happening today, an Arkansas Legislative Committee will discuss the escape of convicted killer and rapist Grant Hardin from prison. Hardin escaped from the North Central Unit in Calico Rock in May, was captured after a 2-week manhunt. And last month, the State Department of Corrections released a critical incident report, which highlighted critical missteps leading to the escape and details from interviews with Hardin. State lawmakers and officials will meet in Little Rock today to talk about that report. Colonel Mike Hager with Arkansas State Police will also present details on ASP's investigation into the escape. Tonight, several grassroots organizations behind proposed ballot initiatives are making a stop in Fort Smith as part of their statewide Arkansas Ballot Measures Town Hall Tour. The event is hosted by Protect Our Rights, For Our Kids, the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, and the Citizens First Congress. Organizers say the town hall is a chance for Arkansans to get informed, ask questions, and discuss upcoming ballot measures. They're also aiming to collect more than 90,000 signatures by next summer. Tonight's meeting will be at 6 at the main branch of the Fort Smith Public Library. Well, the White House says taking acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, may not be safe for pregnant women. But many in the medical community are disagreeing with the changes issued by Trump administration officials. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Confusion and pushback following the Trump administration's warning about taking acetaminophen while pregnant.
Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you just can't, it's fight like hell not to take it.
The administration pointed to some studies suggesting a potential association between the medication and autism. But doctors say the White House announcement is not backed by the full body of scientific evidence.
We think that the overwhelming evidence that we have seen over the last 20 years does not show causation for acetaminophen causing autism.
The Autism Science Foundation also calls it misleading to try and point to a single cause for the condition.
Autism is so complex that there really cannot be one single cause. It's a complex interaction of genetics and the environment.
Doctors worry about the risk of pregnant women not treating illness or fever.
The risks of having a fever, unmitigated, untreated during either pregnancy or early childhood, are much stronger than any hypothetical link that was shown in a couple of studies.
As part of this week's announcement, the FDA plans to update the safety label on acetaminophen to reflect its new warning. At the same time, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. acknowledges autism research is ongoing.
We will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers. We will perform the studies that should have been performed 25 years ago.
Secretary Kennedy says that includes the topic of vaccines. Numerous studies have debunked links between childhood vaccines and autism. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The maker of Tylenol said in a statement, "We believe independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. It's the safest pain reliever for pregnant women." World leaders gathered in New York today for the start of the 80th United Nations General Assembly. President Trump was among the first to speak, outlining his views on global conflicts and the UN's role. He began his speech by calling this the golden age of America, went on to criticize the UN, questioning its effectiveness in addressing global conflicts. The president says he's worked to end several wars and expressed frustration with what he described as limited support from the international body. He also commented on the conflict between Israel and Hamas and shared his belief that his relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin could have helped end the war in Ukraine.
For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
The White House says President Trump is meeting this afternoon with Arab and Muslim leaders to discuss the war in Gaza. He'll also sit down with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Jimmy Kimmel will be returning to late-night TV tonight. Disney has reversed its decision to take him off the air because of his political commentary about Charlie Kirk's assassin. But dozens of ABC affiliates will not carry tonight's show. Jonathan Vigliotti has more from Los Angeles.
Our long national late nightmare is over.
Our friend Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air.
Late night show hosts rejoiced Jimmy Kimmel's return to television tonight.
Jimmy Kimmel!
It was last Wednesday that Disney, the parent company of ABC, took the show off the air because Kimmel said this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
On Monday, Disney said the decision was made to bench Kimmel because the comments were, quote, ill-timed and insensitive. But after, quote, having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Hours before Kimmel's show was reinstated, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said Kimmel's suspension had nothing to do with government influence.
Jimmy Kimmel was in the situation that he's in because of his ratings.
What followed last week's suspension was a fierce debate about free speech from Democrats and Republicans, including Senator Ted Cruz, who likened the FCC chair's actions to a gangster movie.
That's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, "Nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it."
More than 400 stars signed an open letter from the ACLU, including Tom Hanks, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Meryl Streep, saying Kimmel's removal was, quote, unconstitutional.
The backlash was troubling.
Ryan Steinberg is a senior editor at Variety.
Disney prides itself on being a very creative company. A lot of Hollywood was against this. So I'm sure that Disney noticed very quickly.
And one of ABC's largest affiliate owners, Sinclair, saying it will continue to preempt the program for its 38 stations as it continues its conversation with ABC. We should also mention we reached out to Nexstar, another affiliate owner, about its plan moving forward and have not heard back. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Hollywood.